As of today, Bigfoot remains one of the most elusive and enduring mysteries, with countless enthusiasts around the globe seeking evidence of its existence. One Facebook group, known simply as Bigfoot Believers, recently reignited the conversation with the posting of an extraordinary photograph. The image, allegedly showing a juvenile Bigfoot stealing a chicken from a coop, caused a stir among the group's members, generating excitement, skepticism, and heated discussions. Though the exact location of where the photograph was taken was not shared, the image itself, combined with the vivid descriptions provided by the poster, painted a compelling picture of a fascinating and possibly mischievous young Bigfoot. The group is a digital community dedicated to sharing and discussing evidence, stories, and theories surrounding the legendary creature. Its members, hailing from various corners of the world, frequently post videos, photos, and personal accounts of encounters with Bigfoot, engaging in lively discussions and speculations. The group is a haven for those who believe in the existence of the creature, providing a space where they can share information without fear of ridicule. It was within this community that a photograph surfaced in 2024, capturing what many believe to be a juvenile Bigfoot in the act of stealing a chicken from a coop. The photograph, posted anonymously by one of the group's members, immediately drew attention. While the exact location of the sighting was withheld to protect the privacy of the landowners, the image spoke volumes. In the photograph, the viewer can see the figure of a small bipedal creature standing next to a chicken coop, its hand clutching a squawking chicken. The creature, standing roughly 5 feet tall, was covered in dark brown matted hair, and its body appeared lean but muscular. Its posture was slightly hunched, as though it was trying to move stealthily, though it seemed caught in the act of snatching the chicken. One of the most striking details of the image was the creature's hand. Though the photograph was taken at night, illuminated by a dim outdoor light, the hand could be seen clearly holding the chicken by its body, the chicken's wings flapping in a desperate attempt to escape. The hand was large in proportion to the creature's body, with long, slender fingers and sharp-looking nails, giving the impression that the creature was built for climbing or grabbing prey. The chicken, a common farm variety with white feathers, appeared alive and in distress, adding to the image's eerie authenticity. The juvenile Bigfoot's face, though partially obscured by shadows and its own thick hair, was visible enough to make out certain features. It had large, almond-shaped eyes that seemed to reflect the light from the coop, giving them an otherworldly glow. The nose was wide and flat, with nostrils flaring as though the creature were breathing heavily from its exertions. While its mouth was closed in the photograph, its jaw appeared strong, hinting at the creature's physical power. The overall appearance was one of a young creature, perhaps an adolescent Bigfoot, curious and hungry, yet still learning the ways of survival. The photograph quickly garnered hundreds of comments and reactions from the Bigfoot Believers community. For many, this image was significant proof of Bigfoot's existence, particularly because it portrayed a juvenile, a rarity in Bigfoot sightings, which typically involve full-grown adults. Enthusiasts noted the creature's size, its hand structure, and its distinct features, arguing that these details could not have been faked easily. The chicken's presence also added a sense of realism to the photograph, as it showed a natural behavior, the need to find food, a hallmark of any living creature, including the elusive Bigfoot. Members of the group speculated about the location of the sighting, suggesting that the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest, the Appalachian Mountains, or the remote regions of the American Midwest were likely candidates. Some even theorized that the photograph could have been taken on a rural farmstead, where chickens would be a common source of food for a hungry juvenile Bigfoot exploring new territories. The mysterious origin of the image only added to its allure, with many members expressing their hopes that the photographer would eventually reveal more details. While believers embraced the image as a breakthrough, there were, of course, skeptics. Some members questioned the authenticity of the photograph, noting that it could have been staged or digitally altered. A few pointed out that the chicken appeared unusually still in the creature's hand, raising suspicions that the bird might have been placed in the scene deliberately. Others, while intrigued by the image, called for more evidence, suggesting that a single photograph, especially one taken at night, was not enough to definitively prove the existence of Bigfoot. One of the most fascinating aspects of the photograph was the idea that it might capture a juvenile Bigfoot. While many supposed sightings involve massive adult creatures towering over their human observers, the existence of younger Bigfoot has been a subject of intrigue within the cryptid community. Little is known about how Bigfoot might raise its young, or how juvenile Bigfoot would learn to navigate their environments. The idea that Bigfoot might be opportunistic, scavenging food from human sources like chicken coops, also intrigued members of the group. If Bigfoot, like bears and other wildlife, occasionally ventures into human territory to steal food, this behavior could explain why sightings near farms and rural areas are not uncommon. It also suggested that Bigfoot might be more intelligent and resourceful than previously thought, capable of recognizing human activities and exploiting them for survival. The idea that Bigfoot might steal chickens from farms is not as far-fetched as it initially sounds, especially when considering the long history of strange, unexplained encounters reported by rural communities. For hundreds of years, farmers across North America have complained about large, hairy creatures, often described as Bigfoot or wild men, raiding their farms, snatching livestock, and vanishing back into the wilderness. While these reports often focus on missing chickens, there have also been tales of goats, sheep, and other small animals disappearing mysteriously. Such stories have been passed down through generations, long before modern cryptozoology gave the creature the name Bigfoot, and they offer a glimpse into how deeply the idea of Bigfoot has been woven into the folklore of rural America. Reports of large, hairy beings stealing livestock date back to the early settlers in the Americas. Farmers living on the edges of dense forests or mountain ranges often spoke of encounters with creatures that walked on two legs, stood much taller than the average man, and were covered in thick, matted hair. These early settlers described the creatures as both elusive and intimidating, often glimpsed only briefly at dusk or night when their movements were masked by the cover of darkness. One of the most common complaints was the loss of chickens. Farmers would wake up in the morning to find their chicken coops raided, with feathers scattered across the yard, and no trace of the chickens themselves. While foxes, coyotes, and other predators could account for some of these disappearances, many farmers insisted that something larger and more powerful was responsible. In certain accounts, witnesses claimed to have seen tall, shadowy figures creeping near their farms late at night, walking upright like humans, but far too large and hairy to be mistaken for any ordinary person. In the 19th century, reports of wild men or wood apes grew more frequent in rural communities, particularly in the remote regions of the Pacific Northwest, Appalachia, and parts of the Midwest. Some of these stories involved mysterious beings that would steal chickens and other small livestock, leaving behind few clues other than their large footprints and the occasional broken fence. Farmers living near the heavily wooded areas often blamed these mysterious figures for their troubles, dubbing them everything from forest giants to mountain monsters. As the legend of Bigfoot evolved throughout the 20th century, these reports of livestock theft continued, with a particular emphasis on chickens. In many ways, chickens are a natural target for a creature like Bigfoot. Chickens are small, easily caught, and offer a ready source of food. They are also often kept in outdoor coops, making them more accessible to both wild animals and, according to some reports, elusive creatures like Bigfoot. One of the more famous cases involving Bigfoot and stolen chickens occurred in the 1960s in rural Oregon. A farmer reported that over a period of several weeks, his chickens had been disappearing at an alarming rate. At first, he assumed the culprit was a local predator, perhaps a bobcat or even a bear, but one evening, he claimed to have witnessed something far more unusual: a tall, hairy creature standing on two legs, reaching into the chicken coop with its large hand and grabbing one of the birds. According to the farmer, the creature noticed him watching but quickly retreated into the nearby woods, carrying the chicken with it. The footprints left behind in the soft earth were far larger than those of any human, further deepening the mystery. In modern cryptozoology circles, this particular case became a point of reference for many who believe in Bigfoot's existence. Stories of chicken theft and other livestock raids continue to this day, often associated with sightings of a large bipedal figure lurking near farms at night. Some of these stories are posted online in forums or shared within communities of Bigfoot enthusiasts, keeping the legend alive and well in the digital age. From a purely practical perspective, if Bigfoot does exist, it would make sense that it might target farms for an easy meal. Chickens provide a rich source of protein, and are typically housed in relatively accessible coops, making them easy prey for any animal looking for food. The idea that Bigfoot could be opportunistic in its foraging behavior, taking advantage of human agricultural practices, aligns with how other large predators, like bears and wolves, interact with human settlements. Many researchers who study Bigfoot phenomena suggest that if the creature exists, it is likely an omnivore, much like other primates. Its diet would consist of plant matter, fruits, nuts, and small to medium-sized animals. In a remote environment, where food sources might be scarce at certain times of the year, a creature like Bigfoot could be drawn to human farms as a source of easy nourishment. The repeated stories of chickens disappearing also fit within a broader pattern of Bigfoot sightings that often involve the creature being spotted near human settlements, particularly those on the fringes of vast forests or mountain ranges. If Bigfoot is a real creature, its reclusive nature might lead it to venture closer to humans only when necessary, particularly in the case of food scarcity. Chickens, being easier to catch than larger animals, would naturally become a prime target. The reports of Bigfoot stealing chickens, spanning hundreds of years, reflect the enduring mystery surrounding this elusive creature. While skeptics are quick to point out that many of these incidents could easily be explained by common predators like foxes, raccoons, or even human thieves, the consistency of these stories, often accompanied by strange sightings, keeps the Bigfoot legend alive. Farmers across rural North America continue to report strange encounters and unexplained thefts of their livestock, adding to the vast body of folklore surrounding this enigmatic creature. For the members of the Bigfoot Believers Facebook group, the recent photograph of a juvenile Bigfoot clutching a chicken has provided further fuel for the idea that Bigfoot is not only real, but may have been interacting with human communities for centuries. Whether or not these stories are grounded in fact, they offer a tantalizing glimpse into the possibility that there are still unknown creatures hiding in the shadows of our world, just beyond the reach of our understanding. If we take the recent photograph of a juvenile Bigfoot stealing a chicken as genuine evidence of the creature's existence, it could offer important insights into the behavior and survival strategies of this elusive species. One of the most compelling ideas that emerges from this photograph is the possibility that Bigfoot is a scavenger, an opportunistic forager that takes advantage of human resources when available, just as other wildlife such as bears and coyotes do. While most theories about Bigfoot focus on the creature being a shy, reclusive omnivore or even a hunter, this image supports the idea that Bigfoot, at least in part, survives by scavenging from human environments. This behavior might be key to its ability to live unnoticed for so long, adapting to changes in food availability by raiding farms and other rural settings without directly confronting humans. The photograph of the juvenile Bigfoot clutching a chicken provides several clues that point toward a scavenging lifestyle. For one, the fact that the creature is seen taking a chicken from a human farm suggests that it is aware of the ease with which it can acquire food near human settlements. Chickens, housed in coops and less capable of fleeing than wild animals, are a prime target for a creature that wants to secure a meal quickly and efficiently. This behavior mirrors that of other scavengers in the animal kingdom, which often seek out sources of food that require the least effort to obtain. If Bigfoot is indeed a scavenger, it might be more inclined to venture into human territories, particularly in rural or isolated areas where food sources are readily available and human presence is limited. Farms, with their abundance of livestock, food stores and garbage, provide an ideal environment for opportunistic animals. The chicken, in this case, becomes an easy target for a young Bigfoot learning how to survive in the wild. The fact that this is a juvenile Bigfoot also suggests that scavenging could be a learned behavior, something passed down from older members of the species who have figured out that human activity provides a reliable food source. The image, then, provides important evidence that Bigfoot may not just be a creature of the deep forest, entirely reliant on hunting or gathering wild foods. Instead, it could be a highly adaptable species, capable of using its intelligence to exploit opportunities in both natural and human-altered environments. This flexibility could be one of the reasons Bigfoot has managed to avoid extinction or direct human contact for so long, blending the habits of a forager with those of a scavenger when necessary. If Bigfoot is indeed a scavenger, this would place the creature in a unique ecological niche. Many large mammals, such as bears and wolves, are known to combine hunting and scavenging in order to survive. Scavengers are often some of the most successful animals in their environments because they can adapt to changing conditions more easily than strict hunters or herbivores. For Bigfoot, scavenging might represent an important survival strategy, especially in modern times when human encroachment into wilderness areas has reduced the availability of natural food sources. By stealing from farms or scavenging leftovers near human settlements, Bigfoot could supplement its diet in times when hunting or foraging in the wild becomes too difficult or resource scarce. This theory would also explain why Bigfoot is frequently reported near rural areas or isolated homesteads. Far from being an accidental occurrence, these sightings could indicate that Bigfoot intentionally visits these areas to forage for easy meals, much like bears that raid trash cans or steal crops. In the case of the juvenile Bigfoot seen in the photograph, this behavior may also reflect a developmental phase in the creature's life. Younger animals in many species are known to scavenge more frequently than adults, learning important survival skills by mimicking older members of their group or testing the boundaries of human environments for easy food. This image, then, could be evidence that Bigfoot juveniles are taught to scavenge early on, using human activity as a supplementary food source while learning the skills necessary for life in the wild. Another reason the photograph is significant is that it could help explain why Bigfoot remains so difficult to detect and document, despite hundreds of reported sightings over the years. If Bigfoot is primarily a scavenger, it may spend much of its time on the outskirts of human activity, visiting rural farms or homes at night or in low-light conditions when it is less likely to be seen.